Lines perpendicular and parallel to a given line L. Learning intention. To find the equation of a line that is perpendicular to another line and passes through a given point. Success criteria. I can find the slope gradient of a given line. I can find the negative reciprocal to get the slope of a perpendicular line. I can use the point slope form y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 to find the equation of a line. I can simplify the equation into the form y equals mx plus c, or ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Parallel and perpendicular lines. If we are given the equation of a line L, such as 2x plus 3y minus 4 is equal to 0, for example, we can find the slope of the line by expressing the equation in the form y equals mx plus c. So rewriting it with the y on its own, with the y as the subject of the formula. If we are also given a point x1, y1, we can then find the equation of a line through x1, y1, and which is parallel or perpendicular to L. Example 1. Find the equation of the line through the point minus 2, 3, which is perpendicular to the line 2x minus y plus 5 is equal to 0. So we start with the line 2x minus y plus 5 is equal to 0. We're going to rewrite it in the form of y equals mx plus c. So we're going to get the y on its own. So we're going to bring the 2x and the plus 5 over the equal sign, and they will change signs. So the 2x comes over and becomes minus 2x. The 5 comes over, it becomes minus 5. So we're going to bring down the minus y. So that didn't change because it didn't move. It's still to the left of the equals. So we have minus y is equal to, the 2x comes over, becomes minus 2x, and the plus 5 comes over and becomes minus 5. So the y is almost on its own. We just need to get rid of this minus here. So we can change all the signs to their opposite sign, or we can multiply across by minus 1. It's the same thing. You've got the same outcome. So I'm going to multiply across by minus 1. So minus y times minus 1 is positive y, because a minus by minus is a plus. Minus 2x times minus 1 is positive 2x. And minus 5 times minus 1 is positive 5. Now, it's just a coincidence that they all became plus. If this had been a positive 2x, for example, it would have become negative 2x. So it changes to its opposite sign. It doesn't necessarily mean they all become plus or they all become positive. It changes to the opposite sign. So in this particular example, the 3 terms were minus, so the 3 terms changed to be positive. So we can just read off the slope now. It's the number stuck in front of the x. So now that the line is in the form of y equals mx plus c, so 2 is the slope. The slope of this line is 2. So we are asked to find the equation of the line through the point minus 2, 3, which is perpendicular to the line 2x minus y plus 5 is equal to 0. So our new line has a slope. It's got a slope of 2 because the original line has a slope of 2, but the new line will have a slope that's perpendicular to that. So to change this into the perpendicular slope, we change the sign, so positive becomes negative, and 2, which is really 2 over 1, flips upside down to become 1 over 2. So it's the negative reciprocal. So once we have the slope of the new line, we sub the slope and the point into the equation of the line formula, and that will give us the equation of the other line. So if the slope of the original line is 2, the perpendicular slope is minus 1 over 2. So 2, again, is 2 over 1. Any whole number can be put over 1. We flip it upside down to get 1 over 2, and we change the positive to negative. So this is known as the negative reciprocal. So if the slope had been 3, the perpendicular slope would be minus a third. If the slope had been 4, the perpendicular slope would be minus a quarter. If the slope had been 5, the perpendicular slope would be minus a fifth, and so on. So we know that the perpendicular slope is minus a half. So we worked that out in the previous slide. So the equation of the line through the point minus 2, 3 with a slope of minus a half is, so here's our equation formula. So this is from our formula book, so you don't need to learn it off. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we're going to replace the m, which stands for slope, with minus a half. We're going to replace the x1 with minus 2, and we're going to replace the y1 with 3. So we label our point x1, y1. So we bring down the y, And then minus y1 becomes minus 3. So we sub in y1 as 3. Then we bring down the equals. And the m is the slope, which is minus a half. Remember, that's the perpendicular slope now, not the original slope. And then we're going to have bracket x minus. And then the x1 is minus 2. Now be careful here because there's already a minus from the formula. So in this actual example, it'll be minus 2. So there'll be two minuses stuck together. So x1 is minus 2. So once you've subbed into the formula, you can then simplify. So everything stays the same. I've brought everything down. The only thing I've changed is minus becomes plus. So a minus stuck onto a minus is a plus, or you could say a minus multiplied by a minus is a plus. So minus gives us plus. So we're going to keep simplifying. So we are going to multiply minus a half by x and minus a half by 2. So we bring down the y minus 3 and the equals, and minus a half by x gives us minus a half x, and minus a half by 2 gives us minus 1. So I'm going to bring everything over to the left-hand side because I'm going to put my line in this form. So 2x minus y plus 5 is equal to 0 was the original line. So we had x, y constant equals 0. So I'm just going to write it in that format as well. So the minus a half x will come over and become positive a half x, and the minus 1 will come over and become positive 1. So I've got the half x first. Notice it's positive now. So it was negative here. Now it's positive. Plus y. So the y is still the same. That didn't change. That didn't move. The minus 3 didn't move either. But the minus 1 came over and became plus 1. And then it's equal to 0. So then I'm just going to simplify my constants. Minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2. So I have a half x plus y minus 2 is equal to 0. And then I'm going to multiply across by 2 just so I don't have a fraction stuck onto my x. So a half x times 2 is going to be just x. And y times 2 is 2y, and minus 2 times 2 is minus 4. So I have x plus 2y minus 4 is equal to 0. So this is the equation of the line. Now, if you wanted it in the form of y equals mx plus c, so we just want the y on its own, we can go back to this step and just carry the half x over, and it will become minus a half x. And we can carry the minus 2 over the equal sign, and it will become positive 2. So we end up with y is equal to minus a half x plus 2. So either answer will do. Example 2. Find the equation of the line through minus 4, 0, which is parallel to the line y is equal to 3x minus 5. So here's our line, y is equal to 3x minus 5. So we're going to write out our formula for the equation of a line, which is y equals mx plus c. And we're just going to compare and see that the number stuck onto the x is the slope. So the slope is 3. Now the question says we want to find the equation of the line through the point minus 4, 0, which is parallel to the line y is equal to 3x minus 5. So parallel lines have the same slope. So our new line will also have a slope of 3. And we're told in the question that the point it goes through is minus 4, 0. So we're going to label that point x1, y1. We know the slope is 3. So we're going to sub into the equation of the line formula. And this is the equation of the line formula from our formula books. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we can replace the m with 3 because the slope is 3. It's going to have the same slope as the original line because they're parallel. Parallel lines have the same slope. We replace the x1 with minus 4 and the y1 with 0. And then we simplify. So we bring down the y and the minus. And then the y1 we replace with 0. So the y1 we replace with 0. Then we have equals. And the m we replace with 3. So that's the slope. And then we have bracket x minus. And then we're going to replace the x1 with minus 4. So you're going to end up having minus 4, which is similar to the last example. It won't always happen like that though. So we have minus minus 4 and we close our bracket. So then we're going to simplify. So y minus 0 is just y. And then we're going to have 3 bracket x minus minus 4, and the minus minus will give us plus. So the minus minus changes to plus. Next, we multiply out our brackets. So we bring down the y and the equals, and 3 multiplied by x is 3x, and 3 times 4 is 12. So we get y is equal to 3x plus 12. So we were asked to find the equation of the line through the point minus 4 comma 0, which is parallel to the line y is equal to 3x minus 5. And that line is y is equal to 3x plus 12. So notice that the slope is the same. So they have the same slope because they're parallel, but they have different y-intercepts. So the new line crosses the y-axis at positive 12, and the original line from the question crosses the y-axis at minus 5. Or what we could do is rewrite it in the form of x, y constant equals 0, like you've seen in other examples. So if you want to do that, or if the question asks you to write it in that form, you would carry the 3x over the equal sign to the left and change its sign, and carry the 12 over the equal sign and change its sign as well. So the 3x will come over and become minus 3x, and the 12 will come over and become minus 12. Notice that the y has stayed the same, okay? That has not changed signs because it did not move. It was already on the left of the equal sign, and it's still on the left of the equal sign. So we have minus 3x plus y minus 12 is equal to 0. And I'm just going to make the x positive, so I'm going to multiply across by minus 1. So minus 3x times minus 1 is positive 3x. Y times minus 1 is minus y, and minus 12 times minus 1 is positive 12. So 3x minus y plus 12 is equal to 0 is also the correct answer. So either of these will do as your answer. Both of them are the equation of the line, but one of them is in the form of y equals mx plus c, and the other is in the form of the x, y constant equals 0. So let's have a look at the lines. So this blue line is y equals 3x plus 12. And we can see that it crosses the y-axis at 12. And the green line, which we can clearly see is parallel to it, so they have the same slope and they will never meet, they will never cross. This line is the original line, y equals 3x minus 5, and it's crossing the y-axis at minus 5. So we can clearly see that they are indeed parallel and they do have the same slope.